Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Whole Magazine with your host, Brandon Cox.
Episode 44. We're here.
Outstanding.
We're ready
here.
to go. We're almost at a half of 100. That doesn't
We
mean
got a
anything,
full room
but
today.
It's kind of crazy.
It
We're
only
at
means something when you get
episode
to
44.
And this time, surprisingly,
Wild.
I am actually sober enough to continue.
That
is
that's
an
a-
achievement.
That's an
folks.
achievement.
Hey,
That's
do you
why
have
we
a clap
started
soundboard?
earlier.
Clap.
Do you have a clap
I don't
soundboard?
have a clap thing. The only thing I have is
Stop! You violated the law.
How? What?
There we go. That makes sense, though. He's not
Okay,
drunk.
sure.
So welcome to episode 44. I don't know what the title is going to be for this one, but yeah, this is sort of just a recap one. There's not too terribly much to, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but not necessarily for this episode. There's going to be some dedicated episodes for a lot of these topics. But of course, we have our usual alcohol review. Today, we have something from Heritage Distillery, which is up here in the Pacific Northwest. We are trying one of their
I think
vodkas.
they've got
Walker
a
is going to
location
tell
out
us
in
more.
Gig Harbor. It's basically a local distillery as
Yeah.
far as we're concerned.
Walker's going to tell us a little more
Washington
about that.
State. So the first thing I think we're trying is a sweet ghost pepper flavored vodka. These are tiny little airplane-sized
Yeah,
shooter
little tiny-
bottles, so there's not much
tiny
information
things.
on them, but it looks like it's 30% alcohol by volume, and I guess here we go. Very sweet, not enough spice.
Very
it's the-
sweet, super slight spice on the back end. Nothing to write home about. Nothing. This would not scare anybody who's like spice adverse.
Yeah, no, you
So
definitely.
I feel like if I was going to get a ghost pepper vodka, I'd want it to have more of a kick than this.
you'll feel,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
so you'll feel
It's-
it. You feel it.
it-
but it's not. It's
But
not.
you
It's not
first-
enough to scream about.
I'm sorry, Oscar's dying.
Drink
I think he
your-
shot
drink
the
your
whole
Angry
thing.
Orchard.
I think
Hey,
he's got a weak heart.
Are we not doing introductions anymore? Did I
Oh
miss-
shit! Oh my God! You're absolutely right. So sorry, everyone. Well,
back again?
it's just the same usual people. I figured everyone knows. But I am joined by, you heard him, Walker. Glad to have you on episode 44.
Might be one of my last ones.
Yeah. Well, no, because Discord.
Yeah.
And we have
Last
you
one I'm
will
in person
join
for.
us.
yeah, last one in person. We have Marcus.
Hello.
Hello. We have Oscar.
He's currently dying.
He's dying. Yeah. Hang on. We'll get there.
Hello.
Okay. And then we have
Dude, it's not that bad.
Hello.
He's
Damn.
unironically
Okay.
just a bitch.
And then we have Burnett.
Honestly.
How's it going?
Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, the
course.
that vodka is not terrible. I it would actually go really great inside a Bloody Mary.
I feel like
Oh, yes.
I feel like it's just definitely not really spicy. It does kind of remind me of
The name gave my hopes up.
Yeah, if everybody can hand their glasses towards
Oh no,
me, we do have a
it's
second
very
one.
much when you think of ghost pepper, this would be better named sweet jalapeno.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely
well,
jalapeno.
it might be ghost pepper flavored, like they may have used ghost
Oh,
pepper.
for sure.
But
I'm
it's
sure
just not very much of it.
I'm sure they did,
Kind
but
of.
It reminds
it
me
is,
of it's less than like the atomic fireball candies.
Yeah.
Like it's way less spicy, but you get that
I-
kind of like
I almost
very
felt
sweet.
that's a
candy
good
flavor.
point. That
You know
the
what
sort
this
of
is reminding
spice
me
in
of?
there is with like spicy candy.
It
Yeah.
felt like a
Remember
little
that
person
the
crawled into my throat
tamarind,
and stabbed it multiple
the spicy
times.
tamarind that I brought in?
You're a fucking pussy. All right.
Yeah, the tamarind. Yeah,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one.
Tamarind, yeah.
That one had about the same
What was-
spice.
Yeah, it's about the same kick as a tamarind. It's
yeah,
not. It's
that
not.
tamarind. What episode did we do that on? I forget.
Ooh,
That was a
that's-
couple episodes
it
ago.
was- I don't
It was my
remember.
first episode.
Yeah, I don't remember. Walker
There's
says.
probably a good reason for that.
Yeah, but we're also trying another vodka, which is also from Heritage Distillery.
Huckleberry.
There was also, we'll probably do a little alcohol review
This
actually
is
halfway
the one
through.
that I'm actually
Um,
excited to try.
Yeah, Huckleberry
One thing.
vodka, Huckleberry
My bad.
flavored vodka, so it says. But we'll go ahead and let Marcus
I'll be
pour
your
those.
Huckleberry.
It's very hard to try and
but final-
distribute six
Final notes
little
on
things from
the
this little bottle.
sweet ghost pepper.
This was mine. That was
Yeah.
If you shot it like a maniac, it probably punished you a little bit.
No, it didn't.
I shot it.
I shot it.
Oscar did.
This
I'm
was the
looking
last
at him.
one that you
Oscar's
had.
a
It's
bitch.
Hold on,
What
one
are you
at a time,
supposed
you
to
fucking
do?
communist.
It's a shot. What? You're not supposed to
Calm
shoot
down,
a shot?
calm
Like,
down.
I'm confused.
So shooting it would make it not as bad. Actually, you're just a bitch.
I don't care.
Just a bitch.
Unironically,
Okay,
Just a
so this is the Huckleberry, the Huckleberry
Ooh.
vodka.
no, the
It
I'll be your
smells
Huckleberry is
amazing.
actually a misquote.
Hold up.
The smell.
Go ahead.
What?
The smell.
Go ahead.
What? You want me to take it?
Yeah.
You want me to shoot it
Yeah.
first? Okay.
Everyone, look it. Don't shoot it.
Don't
Taste it.
shoot it. You
I'm gonna-
taste
I'm
it.
gonna shoot it.
No,
Fucking child.
literally.
To be
It's like-
fair,
it-
it could be argued that that is a tasting amount.
It
This
is.
guy's a pussy. Oh my god.
Ignore me dying. It actually tastes
So-
really good.
A quick note to this.
I'm gonna hold the mic for now.
It smells
Cough
amazing. It
It's cough
smells me.
syrup.
It's
It's cough
Yeah,
syrup.
cherry cough syrup.
Yeah.
It isn't bad though. Like all things considered, would I add this? Would I drink this straight? Fuck no. This is going in like a
100%
Shirley
no.
Temple.
This was Sprite.
This was Sprite. Shirley
very good.
Temples. That's where this is at.
In the
It's
same way
not-
that Tylenol and Sprite goes good together, NyQuil and Sprite goes good together, this would be the same thing.
I don't think this is necessarily
it's very light. It's very light.
I don't think this is necessarily as like syrupy and
The whole
sweet as I
magazine
thought it was
doesn't
going to be.
condone mixing
But
of
it-
any
it-
liquid and
yeah,
medicine
Flavor
together.
to smell definitely threw me off there.
I take it back. The aftertaste.
I
is
was
horrible.
expecting quite a bit sweeter from how
Yeah.
it
So,
smells.
in my opinion, I like the ghost pepper way better.
The ghost pepper one will be very interesting in like a Bloody Mary,
25.
where you kind of
Yeah.
want that spice.
Well,
Both
the
of
moment
them
the moment
caused
y'all
me
said
pain.
fucking cough syrup, it's in my fucking taste.
yeah,
now.
that's exactly. Once you said it, I was like, I
no, but
couldn't
that
think
would
of
be
anything
very
else.
good with some Sprite or like a Shirley Temple or any kind of those anything that would like sort of help grenadine, like reduce the amount of grenadine you'd use in a Shirley Temple and then add some of that stuff. I think
Honestly,
that'd be
yeah.
very nice.
I'm not sure what the point is.
What?
Cocktails,
Both of those
cocktails
caused me
for sure.
an unsubtle amount of pain.
It tastes good.
Nice.
Now these are shooters. Right
I don't
before
think I've
work
ever
because
had
you hate your
anything
job.
that hard in my throat before.
I mean,
Too many at once there.
Anybody?
No such thing.
I would like to actually try the bourbon.
Oh,
I would
no.
like to try the
We
bourbon.
can do the bourbon. Our glasses are kind of
If you guys
tainted.
if you guys don't want to do
Yeah.
the bourbon, you don't have to.
Here, I can go. Who's want to do bourbon? Because I will.
I'll do
I'll
the
commit
bourbon,
to the
yeah.
episode.
just-
Let's
we
do
can
it.
do a short,
We might need to
very
rinse
short
out.
break.
sure.
where
I'm
we
gonna
rinse
go
out the
rinse
All right,
glasses.
we'll be right back for the intermission here. Hey, how's it going? It's Brandon here. Just informing you that if you're missing out on the website, I recommend you go check it out. We have some episode reviews. Not only that, but good news, the shop is open for business. Go and get your hands on some merchandise today. And yeah, see what we got in shop. There's going to be more designs and more products released throughout the rest of the year. So if you're subscribed to the show, you'll kind of be hearing about it. But anyway, let's go ahead and see how the rest is going on. See if they figured out their lives, and me included.
Guns and alcohol. Guns and alcohol.
All right, we're back
guns
with that
and
little brief
alcohol.
intermission.
Guns
But we are
Literally.
trying. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
We're trying.
Nobody was handling
the
firearms.
Roslyn Reserve from.
That's not what I was stating. I was stating what the podcast is usually about, which
Oh.
is guns
From
and alcohol.
Heritage. We're trying their Roslyn Reserve bourbon.
46% alcohol. It's bourbon, which means it's probably a majority corn mash because legally it has to be, and then it has to be aged in
Mm.
new oak
Do
barrels.
you guys want me to try
Um,
it first?
You know what? Everyone
You
look
are
at
a
more
bitch.
John.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
want to see
that's a
this
good idea.
again.
Yeah, go ahead.
You don't have to shoot it.
I'm gonna shoot it.
Don't shoot it.
What do you want me
It's
to do?
fucking-
It's giving him a
bourbon.
gummy worm to
Huh?
chase it.
Sip it.
That's dangerous.
Sip it.
Appreciate the flavor. That's the whole point
But
of
I don't
tasting
like
it.
whiskey.
Put it on your tongue.
Maybe if you
Flavor
maybe
it.
it sounds like your only instance of whiskey is shooting it.
I'm good. Thank
Is
you.
that the only way you've drunk whiskey?
I'll take it slow. I'll take it slow.
Okay.
This is for the
Yeah.
podcast. Just so you know, this is not something I do casually.
Yeah, obviously.
Quite obvious.
Yeah. Come on now.
I mean, if you're gonna
don't
throw
be a
up on my
He's
bitch.
already
floor,
throwing
don't-
up at the
don't-
smell.
If you're gonna throw up on my floor, don't.
Or you just tortured
You just-
yourself at that point.
Just
You
took
still
the
shot
whole
it.
thing. You just shot it super slow. What
yeah,
the fuck?
you fucked yourself.
What the fuck?
All right, I'm gonna take a sip and
Oh
taste
god, give him an after. Yeah, give him a chaser. There you go.
So, is it only me or
Oh my fucking
I love the fucking smell?
it. So it's pretty
Bourbon.
oaky. It does taste like a bourbon. I feel like
The nice, nice smoke. Ooh,
Ooh, that's good.
that's nice.
Is I
Hang on.
correct me
A
if
little
I'm
bit of smoke.
mistaken.
Mm,
Correct me if I'm mistaken here,
mm.
but this is probably like
mm.
maybe because it's in such a small bottle, but this might be the smokiest.
it's a higher proof than I think you're
Yeah,
normally
it's very
used to. So I don't know if it's it's not exceptionally.
I can't find the
smoky,
actual
in my
word, but I
opinion.
want to say it's like
But because-
almondy or
because it's
grainy or
a
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because it's a
feel like I ate a
92
piece of
proof.
tree bark.
Maybe it's just that extra burn there.
maybe.
yeah. I don't think
You
it's due to it being necessarily more smoky. It's nowhere near like a Scotch, like a Shildag or Glenfiddich or anything like over there. But also, that's a different kind of smokiness. Like in the bourbons, you're getting the smokiness from like the barrel itself.
I would kind of say,
Yeah.
like I said, it's more oaky. There is definitely some smoke there,
yeah,
just as there is with
there's some, yeah.
because that's a lot of the way that you kind of kill off the the
you think someone-
germinating seeds when you?
Yeah.
It's a malted
nice.
beverage, but
So I don't
That's nice.
drink to taste, obviously.
I feel like it's not as full. Like it feels like
But-
there's something missing in the middle. If that
Could I
makes
be
sense,
confusing the
without trying to get
oakiness
too
with smokiness?
snobby.
Usually, from what we're like, any bourbon that we try, we do note that there's a certain sort of vanilla note to it naturally from the
Didn't
oak.
didn't we have one that would
Um,
accentuated vanilla, and we all fucking
Well,
loved it?
any Woodford that we have tried had some sort of hints, and it's like it's not like
It's not
vanilla
even
vanilla.
just Woodford, but
It's not vanilla, but it's like the sweetness that you associate with vanilla. There's
yeah.
a slight little tinge of sweetness with most
and it could.
bourbons.
I don't know. It could be because I just ate a gummy worm before. Trying, but I don't know. I feel like it's missing something in the middle. Like you got the front of it with the smoke and the oak, and then just like the body of it's just kind of not there.
Yeah, it's
not-
got a
it's
really
not-
great flavor. It's just I
not-
feel that
It's not wild. It's not crazy. It's not like, oh wow,
I
what's
do want to
that?
know how expensive it is for a whole bottle.
Like
Yeah,
another
that'd be
word,
interesting. Let
another
me,
word I could put
let's
in
do
is
some Googling.
earthy. Like another word I could put in is earthy. Like I can't. I just can't put my finger on it, but I just want to say it's earthy.
The steak.
meat.
Distillery,
Thank you.
Roslyn Reserve. Let's see what we
I,
got
I
here.
like it,
I liked
But
but
it
I
too.
feel like I don't
Just
like it as much as I
distillery.
like Woodford.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, definitely.
No,
and
nowhere
since I've
near.
gotten here and we've been hitting the Hitford a lot, I
Hereford.
I find myself going to that more often than not when I go to the store.
Yeah, Woodford or
So you
I
can
don't know.
pick up a
it
750
reminds me
mil.
of Jack Daniels.
You
Yeah.
can pick up a 750 ml bottle of Roslyn Reserve bourbon whiskey for $45. About the same as Woodford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
What
much?
volume?
It's 45 for 750
45.
mils.
That's like actually
It's not.
significantly more expensive than
Yeah.
a $30 bottle of Woodford.
Yeah.
I mean, I buy bulk Woodford.
yeah.
But 750 milliliters
I
is
buy
not
a
the same
lot.
as the
I-
1.5 because you
I buy
get
a
the
lot of
1.5
Woodford.
liter like bartender bottles.
They're so good.
Yeah.
Thank God for Costco.
But
yeah.
Yes.
if you're looking at $45, I don't
If
think
it's
can we do
within
this?
if it's within
No.
a $10 or $15 price mark,
I'm not
I say it's about the same.
I'm not like probably
Hey,
an authority on
Mr.
this
Brandon.
or like
one of these days we have to do
good enough
a
at tasting things.
can at Kirkland, and we should go. Get the Kirkland brand and do it.
Mm,
I
It'd
can
be
agree
interesting.
with
I,
you, Walker.
I don't
'cause
feel
Me
like
and
for
you-
$45 that I would buy
I
this.
love
I would
Costco.
not personally
Yeah.
buy this for $45.
I keep
Mm,
forgetting
uh,
I mean, like Walker, put it in perspective, Jack is my favorite fucking liquor out there.
and
I mean, it is
and
it is not objectively a great whiskey. but
yeah, and I still fucking love it.
It
so
is
I mean,
kind of nice how much Woodford is like beloved and how cheap it is also.
yeah.
I do
uh,
keep
Woodford
forgetting
makes
that.
it
just so
all
good.
the time.
Every time we do alcohol reviews, I actually keep forgetting to bring the beat boxes because I do want you guys to try those.
Oh yeah, if y'all
I
haven't
saw them
tried
at the shop
those, they're actually pretty good.
Interesting. Okay, well
I
that's
don't go
gonna
much
be
for
it for
pre-mixed
the
cocktails.
alcohol.
We're not
Yeah.
doing
review.
the Elk Rider.
Oh, we can do that a little bit later.
Okay.
Thank God.
You're
give more John a
just-
rest.
Oscar a little break.
You're just a
The
bitch,
thing,
bro.
the thing is, I don't really do liquor, and when I do
Um,
liquor, it's tequila. It's not vodka or
In
whiskey.
recent news, if you guys did not catch up on the website, thewholemag.com,
he's right
there
there.
was a article that I wrote for dissecting the bill that was the quote-unquote border security bill. Now, it's important to note, if you guys have not read congressional bills before, it is never just the single topic that they call it. It is never.
Never.
When I actually got to the part of the bill that actually started discussing immigration, it was like page 100 out of 370. There was a lot of stuff regarding military budgeting and stuff like that. There was also a big part of the
Israel and Ukraine aid.
Israel and Ukraine aid as well. If we go in, I'm going to go check actually the site so we can see what it is.
I feel like things might be.
Did we, by any chance, contact Hayes to see if he'll join? on
We
Discord?
gave up on contacting Hayes because every time we do, he doesn't. So
Okay.
We gave up a long time ago.
because we've actually
I
called
mean, I just
him
saw- I saw.
before to try to get him to join. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
The same way he
Um,
escapes the U.S. government, he escapes this podcast, so it's very hard to get him on.
I feel like it might help things if there was some kind of law saying that a bill has to be single issue.
It would be
But
amazing.
hypothetically, you can get so much more done in a single session of
That
Congress.
is true, but you
The
have
issue
situations
is-
we're about to describe here. $600 billion for Ukraine, $14 billion for Israel, $10 billion for global humanitarian aid, $20 billion for measures related to the southern border, are just these sort of monetary value kind of things that they were doing. Democrats are saying now that they are going to start pulling ICE agents from the border due to lack of funding. basically holding this bill hostage, holding the southern border hostage, saying that unless you pass this bill, things are going to get worse, is basically what the Biden administration is saying. So they are threatening, actively taking ICE agents and Border Patrol agents away from the United States border with Mexico because they want this bill to be
That's fine.
passed.
The National Guard can handle it.
Yeah, as if that's really going to hold anything.
I don't know what ICE was actually doing.
Apparently nothing, just being the welcoming party.
Give him a free Obama phone and let him go.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious how they're thinking that's going to really affect anything, at least in Texas. But you have states like Arizona, California more notably, who's just like, yeah, come on down. We'll give you thousands of dollars and free healthcare.
So it's going around that with the border, it's not fully secured. I believe it was in Arizona where I saw this video of fucking National Guard just overlooking just one specific gate, and maybe like 5 miles down the road, it was just a completely open gate, just there.
It's literally just open.
Yeah,
it's
like,
fucking crazy.
It's almost like
Not a border at all.
no, and like what the fuck?
I mean, to be fair to the government, the border is big, right? Like it's a long space.
Yeah.
To build a wall and man it across the entire thing would take a lot of resources.
Well, it isn't so much about manning as just building the fucking wall. Like if you build a wall, which I think in the bill they actually talk about the construction of the wall. Also, you can actually find a copy of the bill itself on the website. I do link it in the website so you guys can see it. They do actually mention that the anti-pedestrian border walls are supposed to be at least 20 to 30 effective feet, which is kind of tall. So the idea is that if you make a wall, you shouldn't have to man it, albeit just patrol it and see if anybody is cutting holes into it. Oscar, you want to say something? No. Okay. Yeah, about sidecar. Yeah, side conversation's amazing. You guys are fucking idiots. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of it's amazing how we hear people parroting all the time. It's like Trump, he's a tyrant. He's a dictator, and we have the president sitting in office right now who is quite literally doing the most dictatorial and tyrannical shit.
Technically, most politicians are dictators.
I don't know if you guys saw his
We're not going to go
address.
technicality on that.
His address to the country.
Oh, you mean his like
2 days
burning
ago, right?
train? Oh no, that one.
Where he's like, I have perfect memory, and then he called President Sisi of Egypt to the president of Mexico.
Yeah. He is obviously not there.
It is funny though, his clapbacks to the Fox reporter. I will give him that. That was really funny. He's like, I have a bad enough memory to let you talk.
Yeah, that was pretty good, and that was fairly recently actually. He
Literally
is
like 2 days ago.
Oh man, it is actually kind of sad. You know how you guys heard? I think we talked about this on the story, but on the podcast of the show, Republicans were creating a committee to possibly bring charges against Biden for his classified document scandal. You know, the ones where he was storing, ridiculous amounts of classified documents next to his Corvette. Don't worry, it's in the garage. Don't worry, it's locked up, right? He was storing shit tons
are going
of.
to do anything though.
Here's this. They're not, because they're fucking weak and they're a bunch of failures. What they did do was they deemed Biden too incompetent to stand trial.
I actually have some articles on this subject matter.
So
we have a.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
No, you go ahead, dog.
Okay.
Go ahead. Send it.
Send it. Okay. So we have an article here from Daily Mail, and the author is Richard Littlejohn. So if that tells you anything about
But
him,
you're the more John.
I am the more John. So Richard, you probably need to step up your A game. I don't know what it is down there, but you need to step it up. But he interestingly said, if Biden is mentally unfit to stand trial, then he's mentally unfit to be president.
Yeah, and
that is
was
what he said.
That
in
was going to be
quotes.
my next point: is
That is-
why is this man literally just allowed to stay in office? Hey, Republicans, you guys had a fucking excellent case to impeach the bastard.
So I have another article. I mostly wanted to introduce.
I do want to
with the-
finish the issues of Republicans and their consistent failure with clutching defeat from the jaws of victory.
But are they really
Why
failing?
the fuck? Yes, they are.
But they're declaring that Biden
I am
is already
going to
incompetent.
prosecute you. You are the president. I'm going to prosecute you. You have fucked up our country. We have every
would be an
legitimate
impeachment.
reason to impeach you. Oh, but you're too much of a wacko and your brain is not all there. You're too incompetent to stand trial.
But is that in itself a success at the same time?
No, it's not.
No.
You know why? Because
no.
he's
Did
still in
anything
office.
change? Did anything change?
He's still in
something
office.
could change if it's
No, it can't.
obvious that Biden is mentally
Because
inept to even
but
stand trial.
Do you know what the failures
You're one at a
the
time.
Republicans did? They threw up their hands and said, "Oh well, we tried."
That
It's political grandstanding for an election year without actually doing anything that might be seen as controversial. And it's been the issue with the Republican Party for the last 16 years is basically that, oh no, we could never be as bad as the Democrats,
What
while
they
letting the
do-
Democrats pull the country further to the left. The Democrats are making leaps and strides in the pursuit of their cause, while the Republicans are just clutching their pearls and saying, well, we would never be as bad as the Democrats. Look at how bad they are, but we're
What-
going to let them keep doing what they're doing.
What they did,
It says
what they did was effectively nothing. They too often, and Walker's exactly right. What they do is, for whatever reason, they do this whole try to impress Democrats
Well, yeah.
in Congress
but I thought that was
by
just
doing the
name.
whole, trying to be quote unquote reasonable and not too much and not prosecuting Biden, and trying to do this gesture of goodwill, even though Democrats would never in a million years do that because entirety of Trump's presidency was faced with litigation, impeachment. Here we are now when he's not president and he's still being prosecuted for civil matters. It's literally fucking asinine. Republicans need to take a fucking note out of the Democratic playbook and not only pursue Biden, but put Hunter Biden in prison.
Oh yeah.
it's not that I'm saying I disagree. It's I'm not saying that the Republicans didn't just stand on the sidelines and just wave their arms and say, okay, yeah, let's give this man some slack, right? He's fucking incompetent, yada, yada, yada. But there's an implied success.
No,
At the end of the day,
you're
by
thinking
you-
like the Republicans who
No,
thought they did something.
if you're claiming that an individual is mentally unfit, then it's obviously common sense that the individual is mentally unfit to be a president.
and then if no one else does
But
anything
nobody's
about it, is that a
doing anything
victory?
about
the
it.
voters will do something.
No,
Once
they
No,
Why
they're
are we
not.
waiting? Why are we waiting?
There
Why
is
are they
no
waiting?
waiting.
Yes, they are. We're waiting for until November when he should have been out. Never. He should never have gotten to office. He's that
If he's-
fucking
well,
batshit
we had,
mentally
crazy.
or
we had
mentally-
ignorant voters at that time frame. Now
You're
we have
absolutely
voters
right.
who actually show
That's a
legitimate
cop-out.
concerns
That's
that
a
these
cop out,
president,
and
this
he
president
should have
here.
been. He should have been impeached 6 months when he entered office.
I'm not disagreeing, but obviously the American
My
voters
point-
see that
my
this
point-
president is
my
incompetent.
My point is,
Sure, he
we
might-
have Republicans, people in power, who have the legit ability to do something, and they threw up their hands and said, "Oh well, he's too insane. We can't. He's too incompetent to stand trial." That is nowhere near a success. They were on the way to a success, and the success point would have been, if you're going to prosecute somebody and impeach somebody, you want them to be impeached and kicked out of office and removed from office. But when you get there and you're like, "Oh, he's just a senile old bat. We can't possibly get him out of office. He can't stand trial," and you claim that as a victory, Republicans are apparently losing the fucking plot.
To be fair to the Republicans, maybe they just don't want a President Kamala Harris.
Neither do the Democrats.
I'm not sure.
Neither did the Democrats.
There
no,
was
fuck
a
no.
who was the guy who was fired from one of his the network that he created, where he goes undercover and interviews people. He interviewed a Pfizer executive and really got the
I believe we talked about that last time, where they literally stated that they don't want her.
yeah.
Like,
There was a undercover interview with a some official in Biden's administration.
She also-
and they said that, well, we can't get rid of Kamala, and like, no one wants Joe in office. We don't want him to be the nominee. We don't want Kamala to be, and it would just look bad because she's a woman of color. Is what this person said, who's part of the Biden
Well, it's
administration.
also the fact that her professional record
yeah, she's incompetent,
is
just like Biden.
No, it's not about incompetence. It's what she did as
She
a
has-
prosecutor.
She has failed
gives
upwards.
the right so much ammunition to try to get the African American vote away from the Democrats because of the kind of shady shit she did as a prosecutor. That she's not a tenable Democrat candidate. Like she wouldn't win the presidency.
She's failed upwards. She's failed upwards. That's why she's incompetent. It's amazing how she's even at the position where she is.
I think,
Oh no, it's not, because Democrats do identity politics, and she's a woman of color, so that's why.
I think one thing is evident, and that's something. I think this is something you're trying to make clear: is that Republicans could have done something about Biden's presidency a long time ago.
It is.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And clearly, they have obviously failed at that. However, it is also evident that me being, left leaning as well, that it is a foolish mistake to not even have a Democratic candidate other than Joe Biden.
Well,
So now we have the voters that see Biden as an incompetent
So
presidential candidate.
there
so
are still-
obviously this is in favor of the Republican presidential vote.
there are still nominations and stuff that go on with presidencies, even though you're still in. So Democrats have not voiced their nominations because
I-
there's not a whole lot of good choices.
I want to interrupt here shortly just to say that Studio did just eat a piece of steak off the floor.
Good. It must be good.
Can you give me
Um,
another beer? Thank
okay.
you.
Moving onwards.
Actually,
Um,
if you don't mind me reading this post.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
go ahead.
it's interesting because
It's
I
from
did
the
wanna,
New York Post, though.
Right. That's why I found it interesting.
Let's
did
see
read,
who they can dissect it, boys.
I read the Daily Mail post because one, I do recall Daily Mail being mostly left leaning, and it's interesting that Richard
Pay attention to the
said
fucking
that
show.
thing.
I am.
So we have New York Post. Doctors call for Biden
Unfortunately,
to
I'm autistic, so I need to have my hands moving.
Okay, go ahead, Oscar.
Doctors call for Biden to take
Into the microphone.
mental competency test after scathing classified docs reports. Something isn't
Oh,
right.
thank you.
Medical professionals have stepped up calls for President Biden to take a mental competency test after Thursday's blistering report from special counsel Robert Hur revealed the 81-year-old can't remember basic facts about his own life and career.
Yep.
The Hur report released Thursday assessed Biden as too senile to be prosecuted over his wrongful retention of classified documents and noted the commander-in-chief did not remember when he was vice president.
Now, this is the thing that basically is being stated is he's untouchable because he can't face an impeachment trial because he's too incompetent. So ergo, he can't just be removed from office. He has to run his time up, which is the most asinine, stupid shit I've ever heard. I find it so stupid how we have even that on the books is like, oh, if someone's too incompetent, i.e. a senile old bat that for some reason they can be forgiven of all their transgressions in the past.
It's also very late, I think, in the year in the election cycle for the Democrats to be able to run a proper primary. So there could be some kind of like, I don't know.
They're in a shitty. Democrats are in a shitty situation right now because they have, if they put Biden on the nominee, then we're just gonna be stuck with the same old shit. They can't put Kamala because no one fucking likes her.
There could be,
and she's incredibly unpopular.
Just to play devil's
with people.
advocate in looking way biased towards the Republicans being competent is maybe they feel like he's so obviously incompetent that there's no way he'd win the election, and they're going to let him run again.
Well,
because there's no way that.
No, absolutely, and you're right. If we look at the grand scheme of things and we look at the whole polling data, yeah, Biden does not have.
We can suffer through Obama behind the
chance.
scenes actually being in charge. For like a few more months until November rolls around.
No, you are right, and that is something that is definitely probably being considered. Is that it's already towards the end. There's no way in hell by polling data he's going to win. So that's likely impossible.
To choose a candidate that would actually be good.
The article.
I don't think they could do a real. I don't think they could do a real primary, but
they don't have any good candidates.
There's definitely people who could run and would be a contender. Maybe not against Trump, but they'd have a chance. Especially if you go through all the conspiracy theories with.
I think largely the GOP
does
is
voting
just
matter
done with
if you
Democrats.
just can mail in votes that are fake? But
And then resuming from the sentence of him not remembering his vice presidency, it says, did not remember even within several years when his son Beau died over 2 days of interviews in October. Something isn't right, and even if it's minor, it must be explained to the public. Dr. Stuart Fisher, a primary care physician at a nursing home in the Bronx, told the Post. The horse is out of the barn. Not only does Biden have an infirmity of some degree, but he has delayed producing objective evidence. The internal medicine expert added, arguing that no one is buying the president's defenses about his memory.
It's ridiculous. And this show isn't going to be a very long one at all because not a lot of details are floating around about the shit we're talking about.
Plus, I feel like the longer we spend in here, the more likely it is for the gremlins outside to start
breaking down the door and just knocking. There's a fire axe somewhere. They just have to make it.
There's a reason we usually wait for them to go to bed before we start.
Yeah.
This.
So the EU, we're moving on. With this whole Tucker Carlson interview with Putin, it has stirred up a whole lot of shit in the shit bucket. Not only for the West is angry. The West is very pissed off. Supposedly, the EU has sanctioned Tucker Carlson for interviewing Putin, apparently doing travel sort of sanctions and stuff like that.
So I looked into that, and
they want to propose EU sanctions.
Who's they? Because
the EU.
The EU Parliament is not a.
They're dumb.
It's not a.
This is
single person.
This is showboating. This is showboating for media.
I feel like
there's a lot of officials who are like, "Oh my god, he's
currently looking it
so
up.
angry. I can't believe he interviewed Putin, the evilest man in the world."
Well, it hardly was an interview if you watched, because he started his whole little show on X or whatever he has that he does a lot of interviews. He basically just let Putin sit there and talk and give his views, unfiltered views throughout basically his entire show.
That's the whole point. If you're interviewing somebody, you want them to talk.
Yeah,
that's the whole point.
I did in a quick fact check trace down the source for this story, which is Newsweek, which is not, like the most objective rag out there. And according to a few articles, but I'll read Euronews.com because it's a Eurocentric news organization. There hasn't been an official there hasn't been any kind of official commentary. It looks like some former members of the European Parliament called on it to consider sanctions, but there's not like an actual, like it's essentially the left of, and I mean the left of the left.
People that
in Europe
are,
who
are positing it, and that's a big problem. If you're in the West and you are even proposing such things for a journalist doing journalism,
we also have to remember that the European Union is not a paragon of free speech.
Well,
they don't.
It's hilarious.
It's honestly an awful organization from the point of view of, let's say, someone who appreciates the United States system that we have, but realistically, nothing. They're not going to do anything.
No, they can't. It would be dumb. It would be very dumb for them to do anything. You want to throw your phone across the room.
Now I know very little about the actual interview.
We're not honestly.
If you want to hear Putin talking about semi-accurate history for like 45 minutes,
honestly, a Tucker Carlson interview live, sort of like watching it, commenting on it as it happens, could definitely be something in the future.
To be fair,
we don't have enough time to literally just have part of a podcast be about the Tucker Carlson.
Well, kind of, actually, kind of bringing in something of the previous topic to this topic. One of the things Carlson told Putin during the interview, I'm reading off the quote here, because Putin was originally floating around the idea of, without giving the Russian president also floated the idea without giving concrete evidence that the U.S. intelligence agencies are undercutting the Biden administration. Recently, before that, he was talking about the United States leaders and their pledged financial support in Ukraine and all that. Carlson told Putin, "So twice you've described the U.S. presidents making decisions and then being undercut by their agency heads. So it sounds like you're describing a system that's not run by the people who are elected in your telling." And I'm just sitting here. Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, well,
I'm not even gonna argue with that.
Part of how the executive branch works is
that's not very
that the president is appointing people, but the other issue you have to do is take everything that he says with a grain of salt, because Russia is one of the most prolific producers of propaganda, and this was a golden opportunity for them to plant the seeds of doubt.
Yeah.
It is something to be said, though. I mean, Americans have also been saying that for decades, so that's nothing really revolutionary or
everything.
Exciting.
And then at the same time, with this specific president, that might not be the worst thing.
The interview does say something, though, about Putin, and that he's a very talented statesman. He knows how to speak. He knows how to hide his motives in every speech he gives.
Well, he's literally a KGB spy.
Yeah.
So
there's that.
That comes with that.
There's that.
He knows how to.
He also mentioned that Tucker Carlson wanted to
intelligence.
also join the CIA, which Tucker Carlson just
I didn't know that about
stared
Tucker
at him.
Carlson, and I wonder if that's
I don't know if
how
that's
they knew
entirely
about
true.
that. But they talked about the CIA rejecting Tucker Carlson. You have to remember that he is a very intelligent person, Putin.
Yes.
You don't get to be the leader of a country by being dumb, unless you're in
for almost as long as I've been alive.
Unless you're in America.
Unless you're Biden.
Unless you're in less developed countries, usually, or
like
you
America.
get voter frauded in. So he was also a lieutenant colonel, or the equivalent rank in the KGB. So this is someone who has a career in intelligence, which is all about manipulating people in a state, the Soviet Union,
very
which
talented
was
statesman.
Like I said, these are very prolific manipulators and propaganda producers. So this whole interview, the thing I thought was going to happen was that it was just going to be Putin taking control of the situation, because obviously in his own country with his own security, he can say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson is not in control.
There is,
and then he was going to give his message out.
There's also
kind of did.
stories floating around that Zelensky had placed Tucker Carlson on a kill list.
That was another thing I
which is
fact-checked.
quite funny.
I fact checked that before the podcast started, and
It would be hilarious.
I don't think it's true.
It would be hilarious if he did, and this was a sort of like third party,
It's a non-government organization that has a list of people who they say are hostile to the Ukrainian state.
It would be
Some
funny.
of the people on the list have died, but it's not an official government list saying this is who we want to kill. Like when the Shah of Iran puts out a fatwa on Steven Crowder or whatever bullshit happened. Like it's not the same
It'd
thing.
be quite funny though if you know what would happen if it was actually a government sponsored kill list. Nothing. America would still send them billions.
Honestly, it would.
You're right. I mean,
I
not
feel
nothing.
like it
Tucker
makes
Carlson
sense.
would probably get killed in Ukraine.
Yeah,
I'd feel like it
Not
makes
in
sense
Ukraine, in
because
Russia.
according to
his
Business
airplane would have an
Insider,
accident.
it says here that Tucker Carlson claimed that Ukraine's democratically elected president, and I say democratically in quotations here, democratically elected president is a dictator, and again asked why the U.S. isn't on Russia's side. Now, obviously, this is according to Business Insider. We obviously know this is a left-leaning media outlet. So I was just wondering the validity of this statement, and is this something that Tucker Carlson actually said on the interview?
Even
I will
in
say-
the United States, during a major war, the government that's democratically elected normally has so much more power, right? Like, not only does parts of the Constitution go out of the window in World War II, if you read history, like to the point of the government controlling what you can produce in factories, like, and controlling what you can purchase, and controlling even free speech. It's just something that happens when you're in a state of total war. It's not objectively sometimes the greatest thing from the point of view of protecting civil liberties.
So would you be saying that, that Zelensky is a dictator and not democratically elected?
Yeah, but that's
For
neither
now.
here or there. I mean, it's a pretty moot point.
They're in a struggle for their country's survival. They have to be in charge of things. You can't just have a bunch of, like, you can't have Congress taking 6 months to decide whether or not they're going
We're
to
not
win
going
the
to dive
war.
deeper into the reasonings why, but just as far as Tucker Carlson saying that's really out of character of Tucker Carlson to just say outright that why isn't the U.S. supporting Russia? Very strange that he would say that.
Is that something he actually said?
I don't know. Honestly, probably look at the
I mainly
interview.
skipped through the interview a lot.
There's
So
a
I
whole
hadn't-
lot.
I
2
hadn't
hours
taken
long.
the time to watch.
2
It's-
hours.
Yeah. I hadn't had the time yet to
So-
watch through the whole thing.
So yeah, ultimately, it was a very interesting interview, which honestly deserves a whole article for analysis, as well as possibly a exclusive episode for it. But yeah, anything else that anyone wants to jump in on?
We could talk about the flat Earth if we wanted to.
That we're gonna do
Just
a
to try to-
series for that.
Yeah, we need a whole series. We want to get just to get more participation and more views. We just want to piss off the flat Earth
Yeah.
crowd.
I actually
So,
have
but,
something
quick-
something soft to discuss about. I don't know if you guys have heard.
Go ahead.
But Universal is currently opening up a new amusement park that is supposed to be completely revolutionary,
Nice,
which
I'll never
I'm
go there.
actually looking forward to. It's called Epic Universe, and it looks
Epic
amazing.
Universe,
It looks amazing.
Oh
Like,
boy, I can't wait to buy new things.
where they charge you per step.
I mean,
Most likely.
Universal was a better experience in Disneyland.
No,
Like,
yeah, honestly,
Disneyland,
given the two, I would go to Universal.
you wanna
but
have something
Disneyland
that's
is fucking
better.
shit. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking trash.
Yeah.
Universal is way better.
I don't like crowds at all, so
Yeah.
So I really like Disney for at least their amusement parks, right? And me personally,
If you
I've always had a bias to
bring
opinion
your
towards
weapon and
Universal.
swing around, people clear out usually pretty quick. Hey guys, look at this.
But that was
wow,
like
the line's gone.
That was always like the neat thing about Disney is they had a ton of attractions, and
You guys wanna
Universal's
go to-
finally putting
you
the
wanna
money
go ride
towards something nice.
the hippogriff, the ride of the flight of the hippogriff, Harry Potter land. Yeah, get the fucking crowd. Hey, look at that! Wow,
well,
open.
Well, to be fair,
Hey, this is way cheaper than the front of
Where'd
the
the
line
line go?
passes.
to be fair,
It's way
Universal
cheaper.
Studios did make a lot of
Honestly,
money.
if you guys have a chance, go do the Universal VIP. Amazing.
Did I do? I think I did that. I think I
Ballard looked like he wanted to say
I'm
something.
going to.
I want to tell you something here. I've been to Universal multiple times, been to Disney World multiple times, SeaWorld, all that stuff. Being from Florida, it's one of those things that happen.
Yeah,
you
it's
do.
in California. Like
Yeah.
you're in California, I've been to
I will
fucking
tell you this,
Disneyland. Where you in like
as-
Shasta Mountain?
As much fun as I've
That's
had
in
at those,
California.
Yeah.
I will definitely say I've only been on one cruise now, and a cruise was so much more fun.
Oh no, dude! If
Yeah,
you're an adult,
and
definitely.
Fuck
As an-
Universal.
as an adult,
save your money.
all that stuff, save it. Yeah.
Save your money,
Save your money. And
go
just
on a
go on a
cruise.
cruise. It's so much better.
lived
They
in Florida
recently-
for 9 years.
They-
I never
I know
went
what you're
to
gonna talk
Disney
about.
World.
I'm ready.
So they recently just had the
Icon of the Seas.
Icon of the Seas, and
Yeah.
then they're also making, I believe it's Stars of the Seas
I don't
or
know.
something like that. They're making
Icon
the
of the
next
Seas looked
one.
amazing though.
It's one of the largest cruise ships in the world, and it is amazing.
It
absolutely
like this is just another topic
It
for like
just-
technological
it just started
advancements for
giving-
entertainment.
It just got finished building.
Yeah.
Started its first.
It's
up
very big.
It's
very big boat.
last month.
It's amazing though. It looks great.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not
it's
I'm not
amazing.
I'm not denying that.
Digressing. Thank you for joining this micro episode. It's crazy how the past 2 episodes have been like 4 hours long. But thank you all so much for joining us. And as
Unfortunately,
always,
Angie wasn't here for today,
Uh,
but she's at
and-
work.
she's at work.
Now, for once, we're going to get drunk after the podcast.
Yeah, and play Jackbox. Anyway, thank you all so
Bye-bye.
much. And as always, have a good one.
Yeah, this has
Cheerio.
been
Bye.
That was like, felt like that was very quick.